everyone. Thank you for tuning in to a special Todo Latino interview. Our guest today is a Latino filmmaker from East San Jose, California. Her new feature-length erotic film is entitled Demise, exclusively being released on video on demand on February 27th. Welcome, Yara Estrada Lowe.
Hello. So nice to be here. Yara.
So your movie's crazy. I'm just gonna.
Oh my God! You just came out of the.
I just came out of the gate.
Wow.
We said it. I was speaking to her off camera. And yeah, this movie has a lot of cliffhangers. So where one movie throws you off and you wait till the end and you're just like, wait, what? This movie does that like 6 times. Throughout it, before we even get into the movie, I kind of, for me, every superhero kind of has their story. I'm curious to you. You're from East San Jose, California. What started that spark from that area to go into filmmaking?
Yeah. So, I mean, growing up in East San Jose is similar, I'm sure, to growing up in East LA. Same vibes, same type of people. I grew up playing outside every day in the 80s, and every single day, me and my friends, my neighbors, my sisters would be like, creating skits and just using our imagination like all of us did in those days. So I was always interested in film and movies, and I was always creating something every day of my life. So naturally, I grew up and, became a filmmaker, and the journey has been long, let me tell you.
Oh my God, say that louder, definitely.
I can't get past what you said. You're an 80s kid?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm 42. I was born in 81.
She said she was one of those gifted to play out on the street.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm looking at her. She doesn't look like somebody who's... I'm from the 80s. Like, I'm 48. I'm an 80s kid. Like, I understood the whole bicycle with the elephant ears and stuff like that, so I'm just shook. So it just goes to show, we Latinos, we age very well.
Yes.
Mira pa allá.
We do. Mm-hmm.
So you started, like, your first theater experience was like 4 years old, right?
Yes. So in San Jose, there's this really big church called Cathedral of Faith, and they would have these big Easter productions every year, and the lines would be out the door. And one of my aunts, she was a dancer and an actress in the theater, and in this production, and so she got me really hooked on acting, and I was like, what? People grow up and they can actually do this for a living? So my first love was acting, and then second was creating. But I was hooked from the start, and I was in that play for like the next 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how was it like moving from East San Jose to LA? Was the experience a lot different?
Oh, for sure. LA is so much more rich in culture, and the city is so big and vibrant. San Jose is like Silicon Valley, so it's not really like, you don't get too many artsy people out there. San Francisco you do, but like where I grew up, it's just more, I don't know, a lot of different kind of people that no one's talking about moving to Hollywood and, making it.
And you were one of them out there, yeah.
Yeah. So I love LA. I've been here since 2008, so it's definitely home to me.
Oh, Yara, so in 2016, you wrote a screenplay. Wow, that's for a feature-length rom-com entitled Epic Love.
Yes.
And self-funded and produced and starred. How hard was that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that was my first screenplay, and so we only produced the trailer of that film, and so the actual feature film has yet to be, produced, but it's something on the line for my next movie that's ready to go.
How does that work? So you create a trailer, but not the whole movie itself?
Yeah, because people don't read whole scripts these days, so it's like, well, here's a piece of how it's gonna look, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Is that for like selling the concept or something like that?
Yeah,
It's like
like
a pilot. It sounds like a pilot, like a
you
teaser.
make a trailer, and then that will get people more interested.
That's what they do in those Indiegogos or crowdfunding.
Yeah, they do that too. Yeah, a lot of people do that. So it's just a better way to say, hey, want to see my next project? Watch these 2 minutes.
Oh, that's kind of interesting to me, because I always thought that the process for that was like you had to create like a pilot episode or something like that.
For TV, yes.
And
So
then
that's
for
not the
movies,
same.
it's
For
a trailer.
film-
For film, it's a
For
trailer.
film, it's just a one-off, so it's really hard to get financing, and so that's why I created that trailer, so I can just show them like how I can make film, like, because sometimes people are like, they say they're a filmmaker, but maybe like what level, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people create different things, and you want to make sure that when you're selling your product that you're talking about a professional film. not some little,
If you,
Backyard
bad
film.
lighting and bad sound kind of deal.
Presenting your story, and your concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Your
didn't know that. I
style.
thought that films were first made and then
the trailer came
trailer
from the
came
film,
from the
so to
film.
speak.
It is, but in the
Interesting.
indie world, when you're someone like me with just by yourself, there's no company behind me, there's no studio, it's just me. I'm a solo writer as well, so it's kind of like an easier way for me to communicate my product,
Are you finding it easier now because your product's not out to the public yet? Like the
Right.
movie's not out yet, but are you finding it easier now that you've created that product that you can use that in order to get financing and funding for future projects?
Yes, and hopefully with Demise coming out, I hope it's a hit. I hope people love it.
Oh, it was
I
It was
hope
good.
that
It's
It's
Demise
gonna
will
be
my-
something to talk about.
I'm banking on Demise, being the ticket so I can just create more films. So.
I want to give you props because for being like a indie film, I was actually like hooked on I was watching it on my laptop while getting ready on my way here and last night too. And I was just like, and I had to call my friend and tell her like, I just watched this film and this happened and then this happened, but at the end this happened and we were like cracking up, but it was really good. And I just wanted to know like, when did you like know that you wanted to become a writer, a producer, and an actress as well?
Yeah, so as a kid, I always knew that I wanted to be an actress ever since I was in those Easter productions. And so when I moved to LA in '08, I was just out here for acting. And then I soon realized after years of auditioning that, these aren't the juiciest roles. I'm not getting the lead parts. I'm training 5 days a week. I was pretty good. And I'd gone through like so many agents and managers, and I was like, the only way I'm going to be able to do what I want to do is create my own path
Yes.
to this, because no one's going to give me a chance. Nobody knows me. Nobody cares. There's so much. It's so dense, right? The industry's so dense. And so besides that, all the lead roles that I wanted, they weren't for Latinas. So
Please
that
say
was
that
the other
more.
that was the other barrier. So that kind of pushed me to learn how to screenwrite and create my own scripts. So
Now you went to school for theater, but is that a part of the process? Like when you go for theater, like because I know that there's writing, there's like you can specifically go out for writing, directing.
yeah.
Was the writing aspect something like you said you had to learn, or is that something that came with what you did when you were studying?
I learned how to screenwrite on my own.
Oof,
Wow.
that is
Oh,
tough. I've
that's
seen
tough.
scripts.
More skill
That is
to you.
tough.
I did, yeah. So
Very cool.
And to make it sound so like authentic and like natural is very hard, and your film did that. Like it did not sound like
Thank
cringy
you.
or cheesy to me like
Oh,
at all.
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so we keep talking about the film.
I know. Let's get into it. I cannot wait. I'm like, I have questions.
So yeah, I'm just so I don't know how I feel about this film. First of all, right?
Are we allowed to give spoilers or no spoilers?
So I'm
Not
not.
too
We're
many,
going to
no.
try to
not
minimize
too
it as
many,
possible.
not too many,
See
because
it.
obviously it hasn't come out yet. So it comes out on the 27th. We want to make sure that we're giving people,
Time.
we don't want to be
Yeah.
like one of those trailers that gives all the good parts of the movie.
yeah.
But it's a super roller coaster type movie, and the parts that we can give are the parts that are already out there, which is part of the history. So the movie's about, a wife who gets hurt by her husband because he's unfaithful, and then the rest just kind of the plot thickens. So
Yeah.
I felt because for me, like I felt for his wife. You have me feeling for his wife in the beginning.
Yes.
And by the end of the movie, you have me calling the cops. Like,
and feeling for the mistress.
yeah.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
And then I'm like, now I got to see if there's cameras. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird of a movie when it comes to like the way that you set it up. What went into your mind when you like? Is this something
Dinos la
tragic that
verdad,
happened?
Yara, dinos
And
la verdad.
was this like a Taylor Swift breakup movie or something like that? Like, what went into your mind when you wrote this movie? Because it makes you constantly go back to like a certain scene and go, okay, well, damn, like this caused all this.
Yes.
So when did you decide I want to write this movie, and why did you decide to write it like that?
Okay. So I wrote this movie, believe it or not, in summer of 2020. It took me 3 months to write my first draft. I wrote the entire summer nonstop. And that it was during the pandemic, so I was ready to write my, a rom-com or something fun and light. And I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling happy or comedic. I need to write something a little darker because like everyone was just feeling a certain way that year. And so I don't know, I just was thinking about this whole scenario. And it just started with the husband and wife at first. And then it's just weird how when you create maybe a half of like an act and like act one, you're just trying to, thicken the plot. And I thought,
you thicked it up.
Oh yeah, she stacked that up.
She thick.
And the crazy thing is, this is total fiction, though. By the way, like none of this.
I know. Was this inspired by
I was wondering,
I'm
did you know somebody who went through this?
I'm like, yeah, no. So one of the things I did think about, because I was like, what would level up the stakes so high? Like what? Oof. It's like, what do people care about the most? And then I thought about women, and then I thought, what do women care about the most? Most women, in my opinion, I think they want to have kids. They want a family.
Right.
That level of love for what you want in this life, that would level up this storyline. This is what I was thinking. And so I thought, well, what if a woman couldn't get what she wanted and someone took it from her? What would she do? And that's how my mind just went, oh! And then I just wrote and wrote and wrote. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was wild. I was a little mad. And a little, and
I don't want to give anything away, but
I know.
And go ahead, JC.
No. I messaged both of them. I was like, if I thought it couldn't get any worse, and at the end I was like, oh, it got worse. Like this family has no morals. I was straight up no morals.
And that was the other thing. I was like, sort of like, in those noir films, like all the characters, they have like the good and the bad sides to them. And I thought, how dimensional is that? And I was wanting these characters to, let the audience find out who they want to root for, because they're all good and bad, right? So that's kind of like how
there's a lot of people watching this.
The layers
going,
on the characters, the
international.
Like you say, there's a good side, and I don't want to give out a spoiler, but for me, you need to really get to the storyline. I was unraveled about that twin sister part. That's all I'm going to say. You got to pay attention and you got to really look out because the details.
Yes.
How you literally, you didn't say much, but you were giving out that information in the movie, with the cast, with the actress. That was, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's definitely the second time around that you watch the film that you find those little Easter eggs along the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you see me kind of getting speechless, it's because I rarely watch a movie where I can honestly say, okay, this movie kind of caught me off guard. I don't think the movie's as successful if you would have just stopped with the relationship of the husband and the wife.
Right.
I think that what makes the movie is the journey that you kind of drive home until literally the very end. It's not like you get a little bit and then
you have to watch the whole thing.
You have to watch the entire.
You
it's
have
almost
to.
Like, I'm surprised there wasn't like Marvel credits afterwards, just to kind of throw out for what other stuff. But when you think about that concept, just from a movie standpoint, what inspired you to continue that process from there? Because I know you mentioned that there's a lot that needed to be kind of added, but what made you at one point sit there and say, you know what? This wasn't enough. I have to add that.
Yes. Well, the thing is, I didn't want the film to be one-dimensional in like just something about cheating and an affair. Like that will get old.
Yeah. Like
really fast.
I think that topic is like it's covered on every single Lifetime channel or whatever.
It would have been
then you
predictable.
watch the whole movie. It's like, all right, what's next?
It's a struggle between the husband and the wife the entire time.
Boring. So I thought more of a really intense love triangle for the love that Caleb had, not only for his wife but his mistress, and I thought that she was his Achilles heel. And so what if she came, because I was really sad when I was writing, and the mistress, should I?
Yeah, no.
I don't want to say the
no,
spoiler.
let's not, no,
Don't say it.
Don't say it. Don't say
it.
it. But when you wrote it, I
But
understand
I think
what
it's
you're...
the feelings, like I said, you put into place between a relationship of loyalty, love,
Yeah.
betrayal, and then how you give at some point also forgiveness, which was like, how can even forgiveness play a part in this moment?
Yeah.
How?
But that's the thing. I feel like it's such an interesting topic. It's very sensitive. A lot of
Yes.
people actually go through this in real life. And
Yeah.
I'm sure even something similar to your story has happened. Like, I think so, right? Like, I don't want to give it away, but like...
No, I think that
feel like
families have found themselves in
Families
an
have found
intricate
themselves in those
relationship where,
situations.
especially when, you have already a setup. And again, we were not going to say that much, but where other people, come into the whole mix of what is defining a family
Right.
in that interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you come up with your storylines as far as like, is it always what you're feeling in the moment? Because I know you said COVID was
it's weird
a big
how
impact
it's
on
sort
that.
of like, slowly opening a gift, and then there's more, and then more, and then you're just like, whoa, and then you just find this treasure at the bottom. It was sort of like that, the writing.
Unless
You
it's
were
not.
peeling
I know
off
people
little
who get
by
gifts
little.
like that, and it turns out to be a coupon for like, $25 Chuck E.
peeling
Cheese.
it.
That's not exactly a very good example, Yara.
Okay, well, I don't know how to describe it. It's just,
But if
Nothing
you
is
find a
like
ring
but
at the
the
end,
characters, they kind of speak to you in a way, and it's just.
And then time also was playing a role into each one of the faces, especially for your character Caleb.
Do you take any
timeline.
any people's experiences and put them into films now, or do you try to make
No,
everything?
This one is completely fiction. There
Fiction?
is no.
Wow. So you thought of this.
Yes.
You are demented. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a crazy
What's
imagination.
going on in there is going to be amazing to watch for years to
And
come.
then
That is...
you know that it's like real when you're sympathizing with the mistress and feeling bad for her, but then you're like, oh, she was a mistress
Okay,
to begin
no.
with.
I mean, let's go to that
I felt bad
topic.
she got
Right.
First of all, I'm going to ask you about
X'd
the
out.
actors in a minute. But
Okay.
Location. Yeah,
cheating is like such a really deep topic, like she was saying. This is the only movie I've ever seen where at one point I had sympathy for Caleb.
Oh, good.
That's what I'm saying.
Because it was one of those times where I'm just like, okay, like I understand, pero coño, like what this man is going through is beyond like what anybody should go through for that. Like sometimes you just move on and so forth. I'm curious from the actor's perspective, from the cast. Obviously there's a whole interview audition process and what were their reactions as they were kind of reading the script? You as a director, you're dealing hand in hand with these people every day. You're guiding them. Was this an easy process for them? Was it something that when they read it, they were just like, okay, how do we kind of, rev ourselves up to feel some of the emotions that we felt on it? Because they were just amazing. I mean,
They
the
were
way they
incredible.
delivered this
Yes.
made
No, the
you
cast.
feel
Yes.
each of the parts.
Yes.
So what was it like working with
process
them?
like-
And then
yes.
like, what was that process like for them?
Sure. So yeah, definitely we had amazing casting directors to find this talent. We're not a huge film, so it's hard to get that level of talent when you don't have like the whole world to offer them, right? And so when Carla Mendez, who plays Caleb, when he auditioned, I knew right away. I'm like, that's him. That is him. I don't even need a callback. That's him. And so that was easy. His audition was easy for us because we were just like, wow, And so one of the things that we did in preparation before we shot anything, which sometimes a lot of people aren't doing these days, is getting a few hours together with the lead cast and just go over all the important scenes and all the gut-wrenching scenes. And I thought it was really important that they meet before we shot anything, because this is a relationship.
You don't have like a live run of
With-
when you going through the script or the...
Yeah, so we had a table read, and then the next day we had, I rented a small theater for just a straight rehearsal with the 3 leads. And so then they got to kind of know each other and fill each other out and how...
Build that chemistry?
Yes.
Yes.
And so like we got to do like full on, runs of scenes, like acting, like practicing. And so, yeah, that was really helpful. And then I got to see the dynamic between all of them. And then, Yeah, so I mean, they're great actors, so it wasn't really hard to direct them because they already had spent years
Right.
acting. So
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
She
could
starts the
definitely
movie
tell.
spicy. She definitely starts the movie spicy.
Yes.
Oh yes.
So, for those of you watching, just pay attention to those first couple of scenes and then just move right along. Because it kind of sets the stage for everything else that's going to take place. All right. I mean, if when does the movie comes out on the 27th? What are the streaming platforms that they're going to be able to get it on, or the video on demand platforms?
Yes, so it's going to be on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudo, and then on demand as well, Comcast, AT&T, Spectrum, DirecTV.
Sweet.
Nice.
And it's distributed by Gravitas Ventures.
Oh, congrats to you.
Wait,
girl.
I wanted to
That's
ask
it.
one more thing. Since
Yes.
your brain is already working this way with this film, what's next? Are you doing horror? Are you doing more rom-coms?
So
crazy thrillers?
I want to write a sequel, and I already have like the whole layout for that story. So that is hopefully gonna happen.
Can you give
and
us a
then
little
next.
hint or not really?
Well,
I mean, if she gives it, no, hold on a second.
No,
That's
no. You have
if
to
she
check out
gives-
the
if she-
movie.
if you make her give a little hint of the sequel, then people are going to know what took place. In the
Right.
original.
Right.
So you
They have
can't, you
to
can't
see
do
it.
that without kind of
Yeah.
crabbing on
Okay,
the
what
first
is
one.
it? A rom-com?
so
Thriller.
the next thing, hopefully, Demise. The sequel. I don't know what it's
Oh,
called
okay.
yet.
Yeah,
but
first of
then-
all, if any of you think this is a rom-com after you watch
It is.
it, we got a problem. This is not a rom-com. At least not in my book. There's nothing
Hey,
funny
and
about
it's
this.
true. The ending left us wondering if there was going to be more to it. So you're right.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
you're totally
Oof.
right.
Another version of that. That's going to be tough. I don't know if I can get through that one. That was crazy. So if people wanted to follow you, where would they go?
On Instagram, Yara Estrada _Lowe. And then our Demise page as well, Demise the Film.
So you're not on TikTok? You're not dancing on TikTok and stuff?
No, I started a page just to start, with all this film stuff. But no, I make movies, not.
She's
I make
like, they're
movies
not
and
dancing,
dances.
but make the
So-
cast do some dances. There you go.
Good publicity.
I might do a dance right before the release. Be
Hey,
like, my movie's coming
there you
out tomorrow.
go. There you go. There you go.
That would be funny. But yeah, I can't wait for the movie to come out. Again, it's on the 27th. Be sure to watch it. Demise. It's going to be amazing. It is definitely a roller coaster ride. So, have your spouse watch it with you
Please say recommend.
so that they know what
Well,
could
actually, I
happen.
did watch it
Yes.
with my spouse.
But again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
and it's
guys.
great. And the movie is absolutely amazing. We can't wait to see what other projects,
next?
you make.
Thank you guys so much.
Congrats.
Happy to be here.
All right, I'm Rafael. That is Yara. That is Yobi. That is Daisy. And we're out.